You know what's funny? For months, people kept saying, I'm waiting for the Toronto market to crash more. But here's what the March numbers actually say: sales are up, listings are down, and the prices, while still lower than last year, they're starting to look a lot more stable than what people actually expected. So, no, this is not the market that people are going to panic and say, okay, everything is crashing and buyers are going to get the deal of a lifetime. But this is a market that's quietly tightening. And if you're buying, selling, or investing in Toronto right now, you need to understand the difference between the market that's weak and a market that's resetting. My name is Nima, and this is Reality Check, and we're going to look at what the numbers for March are looking like. Let's go. So let's start with the biggest headline. In March 2026, the GTA had 5,039 home sales, which was up about 1.7% year over year. At the same time, new listings dropped 16.7% to just over 14,000, and the average sell price is just over a million at 1,017,796, which was down 6.7% from last March. And you need to take this with a grain of salt, because for the first 3 months of the year, what we had was a slow year. We had crazy weather, and we started off pretty much the spring with the war in Iran. Because most people only look at one headline, they see prices down and they say, okay, amazing, I'll wait and see what's going to happen. I'm going to have time, and let's just see even what the rates are going to do. But that's lazy analysis. What actually matters in relationship between supply and demand is the direction of the price. And right now, the demand is starting to come back faster than a lot of people are expecting. As a matter of fact, what I've seen recently, since the introduction of the HST rebate, there has been an influx of buyers rushing to buy builder inventory just because everything is pretty much at a 13% discount. If you're a buyer, this is still a much better environment than what we saw a few years ago. I mean, let's talk about the peak market at 2022 February. Treb literally says buyers continue to benefit from substantial negotiation power. And we see it today. You know, you can go about buying a condo or a home very relaxed. You can put your conditions in, you can go negotiate, you can go and visit the house multiple times. You don't have to just go there, rush to see it, and then put an offer. But a lot of buyers are making the mistake of thinking better affordability means endless opportunity. Not true. Better affordability does not mean permanent discounts. It means there is a window. And when the sales start to rise and listings are starting to fall, the prices are going to start to creep up. And that window of opportunity is going to close soon. So if you are in the market to purchase, you are better off being prepared with everything you have in your power. What that means is have your financing, have all your ducks in a row. So when you see an opportunity, when you see that deal that that person has to sell, you're able to pull the trigger and go for it. Now let's talk about what's actually moving. The report in March shows that the average detached was sitting at about 1,340,000. Semi-detached was just over a million. Townhouses average at about 931,000, and the condo apartments are sitting at about 620,000. So year over year, prices are down across all homes. Detached is down 8%, semi-detached is down 8%, condo apartments are down almost 10%, and townhomes are down by about 6.4%. This is important because affordability is pretty much improved across all segments. So here's the part I think a lot of people are missing. Trep says the market is tightening in March, and that's given in the months of inventory, and the months of inventory has gone well below 5 months. But that doesn't mean the prices have exploded, because sales have increased and new listings have declined. So the market is tightening up. That's a leading indicator, not a guarantee, not a bull run announcement, but a signal. And Toronto real estate almost never gives anyone any clean, obvious signs that it's improving. It usually moves pretty quietly at the beginning. But once it becomes a universal news that the market has become good, the leverage is usually gone, and the opportunities you have right now are gonna be gone too. So that's why buyers who understand timing don't just ask, did the prices drop or are we at the bottom? They ask, is the market becoming more competitive from here on? And the March data pretty much says yes, it is. Now, if we zoom a little more, the city of Toronto average price was sitting at around 1,020,000. On the west end, though, we're at around 1,060,000. Toronto Central is around 1,050,000, and the Toronto East is about $935,000. So even inside Toronto, there is still a meaningful spread. That matters because too many people talk about the Toronto market like it's one thing. It's not. A buyer looking in Toronto East is having a different conversation than someone shopping in Toronto Central. A seller in a hyper-specific West End pocket is not living the same reality as someone trying to off-road an average condo unit in downtown Toronto. So this is why generic advice is dangerous. Toronto is not one market. It's a collection of micro markets pretending to be one headline. So take your advice right. Now for the sellers. This is the part some people won't love. Yes, the market is tightening, but that doesn't mean you can price like it's 2021. That fantasy is over. Based on this report that we just looked at, the buyers still have the negotiation power, and the selling prices across all segments are below last year's averages. So if you're selling, your strategy has to be intelligent. That means pricing for the market you're in, not the market you remember. Understand your specific competition. Look around and see what else is selling like yours. And not confusing global fatigue with actual pricing strategy, because the sellers who win in this market are not the most optimistic ones. They are the most realistic ones. And the realistic seller creates momentum. Momentum creates offers. Offers create leverage. Remember that. And here's where the conversation gets bigger. TREP has raised warning in GTA that the housing supply pipeline could run dry over the medium to long term, and highlighted the need for more missing middle housing, which is your townhome and semi-detached that sits between the condo and detached. That matters because if today feels softer than the peak years, Toronto still has a structural housing issue. So when I look at this market, I see two realities happening at once. Reality number one, short-term buyers still have room to negotiate. Reality number two, long-term supply is still a serious issue, which is exactly why betting against Toronto for long-term has historically been a dangerous game. We got a lot of immigration and not a lot of supply. So that doesn't mean to go buy recklessly. It means understand the cycle you're in. Even though right now the market may look soft, even though the condo market may look like it's in hellfire, but that's where the opportunity lies, and you need to take advantage of it. So what's the real takeaway from March? Toronto real estate is not crashing. It's not booming either. It's recalibrating. And the people who do the best in this market are the ones who stop reacting emotionally to the headlines and start looking at what the numbers are actually saying. Right now, the numbers are saying this. Buyers still have leverage. Affordability is better than last year. Prices are lower than last year, but the supply is not expanding the way many people hoped. And the market may be already tightening under the surface. And this is why and when the prices go up. So whether you're buying, selling, or investing, or just watching from the sideline, this is the kind of market where strategy matters more than ever. Guys, my name is Nima. And if you found this episode useful, be sure to click that subscribe, click that like, and share it with anyone you think who might find this useful. We'll see you next week.